Right, so Rich, there is not just one best video game weapon, there is a multitude of best video game weapons that come under one umbrella, and that umbrella is chicken. And I say that because there are so many different games that have chickens in them that utilize them as weapons for no real reason, and I'm not really sure what it is that makes people obsessed with chickens in video games, but I'm very here for it. And my favourite example and the best example is the chicken sword in Drakon the Ancient's Gates, which is the best PS2 game ever and most underrated, which is like a random drop that comes in throughout the game, so you can go into a shop and it might be there, it might not. If you hear the chicken noise, then you can pick up the chicken weapon and use it as a sword. So it's literally just a chicken that you hold by the feet and smack people with, and it works incredibly well for some reason. But that's not the only game that it appears in. There's multiple times chicken comes up, so there's the cluck shot in Gears of War 3, I believe, where it's literally firing chickens out. Breath of the Wild allows you to use a horde of angry chickens against people if you get them riled up enough. There is Pojo in Gauntlet Dark Legacy, where you can become a chicken and fire fireballs out your mouth as the chicken Pojo. I like that he has his own name. There's even more, actually. I've got more written down. There's Crisis, that also has the chicken gun. There's loads, there's freaking loads of chickens, and they are the best weapon. They're the most fun. They're the most kooky, and they're always just a bit ridiculous. I think you can tell if a game is good and doesn't take itself seriously if it has its chicken weapon. So yeah, the best weapon is chicken.
You missed a trick there. You could have said klooky.
Crap.
I feel like there's something that I'm missing, something that would be really super obvious, but I'm going to go with just Saints Row because I love Saints Row 3 and 4, and I just think that, although I'm going to narrow it down and hold up the Apocryphists, where you punch people so hard they just burst into goops of blood, which is good fun. But also there's a giant dildo in that game, and if we can say dildo on YouTube, whether or not this is censored, dildo will prove whether or not we can say dildo. But the dildo that you can get in Saints Row that you whack people with is really good fun. Also, at the beginning of Saints 3, they give you the Call of Duty, what do you call the thing that flies around and fires missiles in COD? The AC-130. You get that after like 10 minutes in Saints Row, because they were just like, whatever, f it, let's just give you everything and have fun. So you're just fighting gangsters, GTA style, then they just give you an AC, whatever it is, and you can just call in missile drops and everything, and it's great. So yeah, it's pretty much that. They added like a shark gun in Saints Row 4, where you just fire sharks at people and they go through the ground and eat people from below. So it's generally just everything that's in Saints Row, but I think the sheer visual spectacle of punching someone so hard that they explode, yeah, the Apocryphists. I'm gonna go with some Saints Row bloody goodness. Dildo Osley. Dildy.
See, I could pick, say, like Marge's frying pan from Simpsons Wrestling or something like that. I could go deep into the annals of gaming history, but I'm pro, like, Crash's Wampa Bazooka. I'm gonna go with the Lancer, because it's, as Scott Telford puts it, it's video games lightsaber. It's just perfect.
I never said that first, but I'll take it.
I first heard it from Scott Telford, so it's copyright Scott Telford. And it's just a gun with a chainsaw, isn't it? Just a really good gun with a chainsaw that you just can mow endless locusts down. Like, it's just especially in Gears 5, you need it a lot there, because there's a lot of these like robots that are sort of infected with these leeches, so they're basically like hard zombie lads that you can't just knock out in a few hits. So chainsaw them all, and all those little like retchy people like me. Just when they go me, you just go no, just hold the button. I can't remember which. I think it's RB. It used to be B, but just no. And my first ever online kill on Xbox 360 was one of my good friends, Lambert. He was on the other team. Chainsaw in the back, dead. Just killed my best friend, dead with a chainsaw. And that gun, ever since then, has been the best video game weapon, because who doesn't want a chainsaw on a gun? And then when you've got a bayonet on the other one, the retro one, and you run in screaming, it's great. And it's even better when someone does it to you, but they miss, you just sidestep them and then chainsaw them. Lancer. Buy Gears of War now, or get it on Game Pass.
All right, Phil Spencer.
Phil Spencer's great.
Not anymore.
The best video game weapon is actually not solely a weapon. It is a tool for both destruction and utility, and that is the gravity gun from Half-Life.
Is it a dildo?
A dildo, is it, Scott? No. You'd use the gravity gun as a dildo, but I think it would fire things up a bit too hard. Moving on. Yes, the gravity gun from Half-Life 2 I think is the best video game weapon because yes, it's a tool of both death and destruction, but also utility since you have so many puzzles in Half-Life 2 that require the gravity gun. You come across so many points when you're in the buggy and you come across roads strewn across the road and you need to use the gravity gun to move them all out of the way. But then alternatively, when you get to Ravenholm, you can then pick up things like saw blades and flammable canisters with the gravity gun and use them to slice zombies to pieces. And most importantly, there's an achievement in Half-Life 2 for killing someone with a toilet, which I unlocked for the first time only a few weeks ago. Because for some reason in my, genuinely I've put 80, 90 hours into Half-Life 2 and I've never killed anyone with a toilet. So you can do that. Gravity gun's the best, but very quick side note on brand for me, Ray Gun Mark II from Black Ops 2, 3 and 4 is the most fun, silly weapon that isn't firing chickens out of a bazooka or whatever it is you can do in other games. It's just great. It's like green, imagine the donuts from the ray gun just 3 times over, penetrates zombies, and you reload it by sliding a thing of batteries into the back. It's cool. Ray Gun Mark II, but gravity gun mainly.
This one's sort of a stretch because I don't know if you can technically call it a weapon, although I'm going to just class it as a weapon. It's got to be the Rhino in GTA Vice City, which is just a big tank. And yeah, it's literally like Invincible. You can turn your turret all the way behind you, keep shooting, and you'll be, I think, potentially the fastest vehicle in the game, probably like 3rd fastest or something. And yeah, it's so fun just to get 5 stars and ram all the cars and explode them off of the road. Yeah, it's just fun, especially with the cars flying cheat as well. When you're blasting backwards, and then suddenly your tank just likes to fly, and you can just go anywhere in the map. It's so fun. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to cheat because I've kind of got 2, but one I think you might fight me on because it's not necessarily a video game weapon. It's the brick from The Last of Us. That is the only thing you need in that game. The Last of Us, obviously a post-apocalyptic game where you have very limited resources, you barely have any bullets, but you'll always have either a brick or a bottle that you can pick up and just lob off someone's head so they stop in their tracks, then you can uppercut them to death. That thing is the most reliable little item in the whole game, and it's so versatile and so satisfying when you launch it and it just lobs, like I said, off someone's head or off their face. It feels so visceral and violent and good. And it's I'm gonna go out on a limb, and this might be, controversial, but it's the best brick in video games. I could do a top 10 list, but why bother when it would all be those? Sorry, Rich, I haven't. I can't say I have.
Best brick is
Pong. Best 3 bricks. They're just like squares, aren't they? Boop, boop, boop. So yeah, the brick, but also on a bit more of a serious note, the glue cannon in Prey, because to be fair, like the brick, that's one of the only weapons you need. It's so versatile, it does so many different things. There's actually a really good video by, I think, Mark Brown, who sort of went into how much of a feat this thing is in terms of game design, because not only do you use it to stop enemies in their tracks so you can whack them with your little wrench and then they explode into glue, but you can use it to build bridges to new parts of the level. You can shoot these little glue blobs and then try to climb to wherever you want to, and the game accommodates that. So you can get to areas that you're not supposed to get to until, hours and hours later, or that you need a key card for, and just build your own little bridge and kind of shimmy up, and it's awesome. And it's sort of one of those genius features like the gravity gun, for instance, where you just think, how have I ever lived my life without this? And now I'd want one of these in every single game. Also, the little the cutter from Dead Space, I forgot what it's called, but that thing is also awesome. Just cheated there. The top 3 best weapons in video games, I suppose.
Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching. Now, if you want more chatty faces, why not watch through the rest of our playlist? But I just want to say a big thank you to the brilliant channel sponsors for voting on this week's chatty question. And if you want to join the vote, then why not consider hitting the join button and becoming a sponsor today? And we will see you next week. Bye!